Residents of Abuja and neighboring states of Niger and Nasarawa are still facing tough times sourcing for premium motor spirits, popularly called petrol, with the commodity selling for as high as 600 naira per litre by black marketers. Motorists and commuters are yet to feel the impact of the intervention of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, which earlier directed 24 hours operations in all its depot and retail outlets. Now, Nafisa Abdel-Al visited some filling stations and brought back this report.
Long queues persist across fueling stations in the FCT days after it was discovered that petrol being supplied into the country is adulterated. Although the NNPC and other stakeholders are trying to curb the problem, the situation still persists and has left Nigerians filled with frustration and anger over not just the situation but the overall economic situation of the country. The fuel scarcity issue has left motorists on long queues at filling stations as some abandon their vehicles, waiting their turn to purchase petrol.
The situation is so sad, For one to abandon his office to come and seek for fuel is a very appalling situation. I've been here over 5 hours. I came in here around 6:30. They say they will start by 10. By 10:30 they kick off. So up till now, we are still hoping that before the end of today we'll get fuel. Well, black market, they are not helping matter. Just that if you are in a desperate situation, you patronize them. But what type of fuel are you buying? That is the thing.
The situation now, because actually it's money a day here. Since 7 o'clock a day, I never get the fuel. I feel so uncomfortable for the fuel. If I get the fuel now, it's so far. So before I go to work now, time don't go. Black market, because they sell 5,000 for 10 litre, 5,000. Because they buy that 10 litre now for black market, I can't do work. They buy it now, how much I will eat, how much I carry go house. They run the Zuba. So from here to Zuba now is 600, 500, 600. Because the way we take buy the fuel, that's why we will take do the work.
So bad, so painful. In fact, we left all. Can see people are standing by. We left all to stand. We are on the sun. When you met me, we were on the sun, waiting for the queue to move. You see, all you can see is this black market all over, and the price they are selling. As at on Friday, I passed here. They told me 3,000. Today now they are calling 7,000. At least they say today is 6,000. So it's unbearable.
New or not, we live on trust. We have trust that if we buy black market, we can be able to move around. If at the end of buying the black market, your motor refuse to move, it is part of the trust. So it is terrible.
Other passers-by and commuters are equally affected by the situation as heavy traffic congestion obstructs the free flow of vehicles. The fuel scarcity problem has forced many Nigerians into dire situations in the sense that they are purchasing petrol from black market sellers at exorbitant prices, even without being sure of the content of the product. Nafisa Abdel-Al, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Our reporter Shafiu Suleiman was also on the street to give us an update on fuel scarcity.
I'm right now at one of the pure petrol stations, selling the products, NIPCO along Kubwa Expressway. The situation at our arrival was very chaotic because motorists and other users of PMS were hovering around with all of them trying to get access to the product. Some with jerry cans and others trying to bribe their way into the petrol station. Some of the people who have been here, some say they are here as early as 4 a.m. Wanting to get a fuel. But a lot of racketeering is taking place here. They said, those vehicles have to part way with 2,000 naira to be allowed, to go in and buy the petrol. While those with jerry cans have to pay 1,000 naira to have access to the petrol station. The situation generally is chaotic at that point, but our arrival has, restored some level of sanity as the managers of the petrol station were seen chasing those with jerry cans and those hovering around, wanting to shunt or have access to the petrol station without joining the queue. Here is one of the motorists who has been here to buy the products. Tell us your name.
My name is Emperor Ndubisi.
Okay, for how long have you been here?
I sleep here yesterday night. I have queue in NNPC on Monday. There's no fuel. So government should tell us what is going on. Why are they not sending fuel for us? Everybody, we are suffering everywhere. Now, imagine now I even enter inside to buy fuel now. They're telling me that I will buy only 5,000 naira. Why I have been sleeping here yesterday till this morning. They said that I should buy 5,000 naira only.
Yeah, some say that people have to pay, certain amount of money to be allowed to go in, like those with cars 2,000 and those with jerrycan 1,000. How true is that?
No. I never witnessed anything of paying money or not paying money. But all those people that are buying in jerrycan, I don't know about them. I only concerned about my own. I have queued here for since yesterday till this morning. They said I should only buy only 5,000 naira only. I'm not happy. What is going on in this country? What are we suffering in our own country like this? I'm not happy about it. So the government should tell us what to do. Is it mean that fuel no day or what?
The motorists here who are queuing in to buy the fuel are left in the dark because most of them have been asking questions. What exactly is happening? What brought about this scarcity? But we are also aware that the government is telling us that there is a supply of an adulterated petrol, for almost 80 million liters, which is in circulation. It was said to have been brought in by the country by some indigenous oil companies, 4 of them. And this presence of the adulterated PMS, which has substantial elements of methanol in it, is what has caused this disruption in the supply chain. And Nigeria, as we all know, as one of the 6th largest producer of petrol, is also one of the countries with the highest consumption of PMFs daily. Nigerian authorities have put the Nigerian consumption at 72 million liters per day. In a country where we have over 200 million people. And of course this substantially has created a supply gap which the NNPC and other authorities within the oil and gas sector say they are trying to bridge. Now, the authorities are also telling Nigerians that they are currently, intensifying supplies. They've initiated a 24-hour supply of PMS across the country in order to address this problem. But the queues keep growing, especially in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, and of course the nation's financial capital, Lagos. Let's hear from one of the motorists who is also here to get the fuel. For how long have you been here?
I've been here since yesterday. I came here yesterday at around 4 p.m. and I'm still here, which is about 7. After 7 now, I'm still here. I slept here, and the bad thing is that apart from what we are suffering, I think we are the cause of our problem. If you go in here, if you look from here now, you discover that the bike men here, those pump attendants, we collect 500 from every bike person you see here. So we are the cause of our problem. You see from these ones coming from illegal queue, coming from the other side, they will make sure they collect like 1,000 from each person. That's what we are suffering here. So we that are on the queue for long, we have to stay here for more than 4 hours without any move. And these filling station people will go as far as collecting from illegal lines and collecting money so that they could we are suffering. We are Nigerians are suffering. So we don't know. We want the government to look into this. We are suffering. For 2 days I've not gone to work. I've been here on queue for 2 good days. Please, we are suffering. The government should help us.
All right. One of the motorists here who has been here on the queue for 2 days, as he said, lamenting the situation and of course asking the government to intensify effort to bring it to an end. Nigerian government under present administration has been consistently supplying, saturating the market with the product. For 7 years, Nigerians have never witnessed fuel queues. But this supply disruption has created or reenacted the dark days where Nigerians have to sleep for days in petrol queues to be able to obtain petrol. As the Nigerian government battles to restore normalcy, some say Nigerian government should not afford, to allow this fiat to be ruined, by this crisis of the adulterated PMS that has been in circulation. It has to do everything possible, to break the chain and of course allow for massive supply of petrol to discard or to do away with these long queues that are surfacing all over the country. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Wow, really a sad situation right there. Well, to give more perspective on the issue, we're now being joined virtually by the National Vice President, Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, Abubakar Megundi. Good morning and welcome to Daybreak.
Good morning.
Would you say this is one of the worst fuel crises in Nigeria?
Well, first of all, let me apologize to the teeming Nigerians for having this hardship. But the government require a recommendation for having almost 7 years on interruption of the fuel supply. So what we can say about this issue, the GMB has already addressed the issue. He take a proactive measures to make sure that there is availability of the petroleum product nationwide.
Now,
because if you
despite,
observe,
efforts, by the federal government to withdraw, the adulterated fuel we are seeing, in circulation, we still have people, complaining of having these adulterated fuels. But marketers are assuring that there's clean petrol, in circulation. Could you talk to us about that?
well, in fact, maybe if you hear somebody is complaining, maybe he gets the source of the product through the roadside. But in the filling station, especially the independent petroleum marketers filling station, all the product that we have been selling is of good quality because it was being tested by the NNPC.
Where that Ipman said we shouldn't expect the fuel scarcity to end until in 2 weeks' time, that the fuel scarcity will actually end in 2 weeks' time. Would you say it's your fellow marketers that are actually hoarding this fuel and making it difficult for Nigerians to purchase?
No, I don't think any marketer can hold the products because already the supply is coming, and immediately when the supply comes, charge it inside our fillings and started selling. The only thing, what is there is a lot of panic buying, and most of the Nigerians, they are in haste in buying. But I assure you, just through the information that we are getting, and the way we have been loading the product from various private depots, I assure you, this queue will soon go.
Now, if you say Nigerians are in a haste, to panic buy, given the situation we are in right now, isn't it right to say that we can't help but panic buy?
Well, most of the filling station now, if you observe, there is product being discharged. But because somebody who is taking maybe 5,000 liters before, now he intended to buy maybe full the tank, to buy either 11,000 or 12,000. So actually, this is the main causes of all this queue that you have been seeing. And there are some touts that they may use this advantage to be buying product through their cans and go and sell.
Okay, but you mentioned that if people actually get bad fuel, this is coming from, black marketers. But my question is, how do these black marketers have access, to buy in jerry cans? Don't they still get them from these filling stations?
No, not necessarily till you buy a contaminated fuel from the filling station that the fuel will be contaminated. Provided that you are buying fuel outside, and these people, they wanted to put any ingredient inside, not necessarily from the filling station they bought this product. So that is why we are advising always the motorists, no matter how long it will take them, they should queue on and take their fuel in a correct filling stations, then buying
So
through
now,
the roadside.
because definitely someone has to be, held accountable for, these happenings. Who should be blamed? Who is to be blamed? Because you have a lot of agencies and bodies, pointing fingers at each other.
Well, this thing, the investigation is still going on. Therefore, as we are all Nigerians, we should listen to what is really going on, because already the GMD has already mentioned some certain marketers who participated in bringing this adulterated product. So we are still waiting, but I want you to understand that we independent marketers, our source of product normally depend on the NNPC.
Okay, now, aside that, you said, that there's fuel in ground that can actually go around for every, motorist, but because of panic buying, there seems to be like a scarcity. What solutions, what other solutions, do we actually have in store? Because we've seen reports where, even the filling stations end up collecting monies to allow motorists in to actually buy fuel. And some filling stations don't give more than a certain amount.
Well, the solution is to reduce the pressure of panic buying. Then don't ever give anybody money because you wanted to buy the product. So let's Nigerians will behave properly in such a way that we can behave maturely, join the queue. After the queue, then you get your fuel, then you go.
We've had also situation reports that some filling stations are paying or are selling above pump price. What do you intend to do to these particular filling stations, considering that, the masses are actually the ones at the receiving end right now? Shouldn't there be some kind of, alleviation for them?
Well, in fact, about the issue of the above the price, all what I know, we have a challenges in loading this product from various private depots because they have increased their price above the government's stipulated rate, which we are supposed to buy this product. They are selling about 162.5 to 165. And that is the reason why you have been saying that some of the independent petroleum marketers filling stations, sometimes they doesn't have the product because of the higher cost by the private depot owners.
Okay. Now, we're also seeing that recently 5 petrol-laden vessels from Belgium, were turned back. Could you comment on that?
Well, in fact, up to now, we didn't receive such kind of information. But immediately when we receive the information properly, we can address it later.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Megundi, for giving us perspectives on this. We hope to have you next time.
Okay, thank you very much. I wish you the best of luck.